Unknown facts about Queen Elizabeth II. From a wedding day crisis, to incognito partying, here are some unknown facts about the longest reigning British monarch in history. Queen Elizabeth never went to school. However, she was not uneducated. Elizabeth, nicknamed Lilibet, was homeschooled. Princess Margaret was homeschooled as well. The Queen and her sister once partied incognito in the streets of London. Elizabeth and Margaret were allowed to join the end of World War II celebrations on May 8, 1945. The Queen named the night one of her most unforgettable. She recalled in 1985, "I remember lines of unknown people locking arms and going along Whitehall." A royal night out dramatizes Elizabeth and Margaret's excursion. Her tiara snapped on her wedding day. According to Town & Country, the court jeweler had to be summoned immediately to repair the diamond tiara, but it was successfully patched up in time for the wedding. She was related to the man she married. Elizabeth and her husband, Philip, were technically third cousins. Elizabeth is linked to Queen Victoria through her father, and Philip is related through his mother. Philip was born into the royal families of Greece and Denmark, but when he married Elizabeth, he abandoned his original titles. They had been married for 73 years when he died on April 9, 2021. She celebrated her birthday twice a year. The Queen's actual birthday is April 21, although the country does not celebrate it until June 11. Monarchs who celebrate their birthdays during the winter months usually plan an additional, official celebration when the weather is expected to be better for a parade. Every June, Elizabeth held one called Trooping the Colour. She reigned for so long that 4 out of every 5 British citizens were not alive when she took the throne. Most Britons have never known a monarch other than Elizabeth. According to figures, 81% of UK people were not alive when Elizabeth rose to the throne. When her father died in 1952, she automatically became queen. She was the world's longest reigning monarch until her death at the age of 96. During her 70-year reign, she worked with 15 different British prime ministers. She's also witnessed 14 different presidents of the United States. She last saw Prime Minister Liz Truss on September 6, 2 days before the Queen died. She owned all the swans and dolphins that swim in UK waters. According to the official royal family website, the British monarchs claimed all mute swans in the kingdom as early as the 12th century. The birds were considered a delicacy back then. The Queen no longer eats those swans, but she still technically owns them. Every year, the Queen's Swan Marker leads the Swan Upping, a multi-day census to count the birds and assess their health. She had a private ATM at Buckingham Palace. The ATM is provided by Coutts, one of Great Britain's most prestigious banks. Queens are not required to pay taxes, but Elizabeth did. Although the sovereign is not obligated to pay income or capital gains taxes, Elizabeth has been doing so voluntarily since 1993, according to the royal family's website. She sent a message to the moon. Hundreds of global leaders were requested to write messages of kindness that were placed onto a tiny silicon disk in advance of the Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969. According to NASA, that disk is still on the moon's surface, where Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin planted it directly below the American flag they erected at the landing site. In her moon message, the Queen said, "On behalf of the British people, I salute the skill and courage that have taken man to the moon. May this work advance mankind's knowledge and well-being."